What's up, guys? It's Hussien Jabai here with Jabai Performance, talking about the 6 steps for a successful consultation, no matter the individual or what population you're working with. Check it out. The first step toward a successful consultation is going to be introductions. So this means you, first off, you are going to be telling your potential client a little bit about yourself, kind of your background, maybe, it doesn't matter where you start, maybe high school, talking about your college, talking about your education, no matter what it might be. It gives them a little insight, a little bit about you, makes them a little bit more comfortable. So then you turn around, flip the script, and have them introduce themselves. And so they're able to see, okay, he talked about college, so I'm going to talk about college. He talked about hobbies, so I'm going to talk about hobbies. It gives them a little bit more, it makes them a little bit more comfortable to talk about themselves. And so therefore you can get a little bit of insight on one, physical activity history, their interests, kind of things you can compare and you can talk about while you're building this relationship with the client. And then number 2 is going to be purpose. So this is actually explaining to the individual not only why they're here, because honestly they kind of know why they're here, but you have a little bit more insight of how an assessment is going to actually provide them with the information that they need. So you need to take the time to explain the purpose behind the assessment, also the purpose behind the feedback you're giving them, and then how it's actually going to assist them to get them toward the goals that 1, they either want to get to, or 2, the goals that you know they should get to based on the population you're working with. Number 3 is going to be the actual assessment. Now, in the future, we can talk about what assessments should look like, anything from the physical capabilities, strength testing, agility testing, things like that, or the movement screen, the actual flexibility, checking range of motion. We can actually dive a little bit deeper in another video, but just understand that number 3 is actually going into the assessment, and we don't jump into the assessment in the beginning. We actually take the time to build the relationship, to build that understanding of purpose before actually going into our assessment. Number 4 is going to be feedback, or presenting the results of the assessment. This is not just reading a script and saying, hey, you got 4 reps, you got 4 reps, you got 200 pounds, you got 200 pounds, you did it in 5 seconds. It's explaining, 1, what the test is showing you, 2, what the results are showing you based on the test, and then 3, what different factors are actually contributing to their results. Building on the aspect of presenting the results and presenting the feedback is educating and informing, or building value with this potential client. When I talk about building value, you're not saving all the secret information for in the future if they purchase personal training or whatever service you're providing. Building value means actually educating them, okay, you know, with the sit and reach or with the lying active leg raise, you're not able to lift your leg or go through hip flexion as far. And so this may be due to tight hamstrings, tight glutes, tight calves, depending on where they're feeling the tightness. And with a couple of different assessments, you can kind of check that. But actually educating, okay, well, since your hamstrings are tight, some things you can do at home are this, this, and this. Say you can't do as many push-ups, what are some different muscles that are contributing to this exercise? How can you train to improve the amount of push-ups you can do? So you're actually providing value, or you're educating on, 1, you know, why they're getting the results that they see, but 2, how they can actually work toward their goal without you actually having to be there. Because if you're willing to sit there and tell them, hey, you know, it's as simple as you going home or you going to the gym and stretching, and this can improve, they're like, wow, you know, he didn't sit there and just try to sell me something. He was actually there for me, and to be able to provide value and to provide information to educate me, and he really helped a lot. So if I decided to go the personal training route, I would love to go to him because he's already provided me with so much knowledge. And then last but not least is going to be presenting your service. So the presentation of what package deals you may have, what different personal training services, prices, sessions, group training, doesn't matter. At the very end, after you've built up so much value and they're really in tune with what you have to say, that's when you're like, hey, this is where you're at. We've already talked about where you want to be, where you need to be. This is how I can help you. So the last step in the process is actually presenting your service, your fitness classes, whatever kind of training you do. At the very end is when you get to show off, hey, if you work with me, I can help you get there, and we'll lay out the program, the foundation of how to take the steps toward your goals. And so taking that last step of actually presenting, because a lot of people don't work up to actually offering their service. They're like, yeah, I'm a trainer, I do group classes, this and that, if you happen to want to go. No, you actually have to take the step and say, hey, you know, I want to work with you. It's going to take us 6 weeks and we're going to get you where you want to go. Maybe it's going to take you 20 weeks, that's okay, but come with me, you know, once a week and we're going to get you there. So actually taking the initiative to present what your services are or things you have to offer is going to be huge when it comes to actually having a successful consultation, actually claiming another client.